You take them out, the music stops. You put it back in, music continues. Hi, so today I would like to very briefly review something that I see as an invaluable minimalist nomad accessory, and that's the Apple AirPods. So that's the charging case. I'm actually wearing them. I'm not sure if you noticed. They're quite small, so they don't really, you can't really see them because there are no wires hanging from your ears. So that's like incredibly useful if you are doing stuff around the house. If you're exercising and you don't want to have cables hanging off from your ears. Doing some household errands, I'm washing the dishes, I'm preparing some food, and I'm doing something. And the last thing I want at that point, when I'm handling knives and forks and whatever, the last thing I want is to have like wires hanging and in the way. In many ways, they feel very intuitive. One quick example: you take them out, the music stops. You put it back in, music continues. So there is no need to grab hold of your phone, do anything. You just take it off, do whatever you need to do, talk to someone, put it back on, and you're good to go. Charging it is really very easy. So you just need your AirPod case. You just open it and you insert them in here. They've got little magnets that guide your movement. I'm going to do it again because I wasn't looking. You take it out like this and you insert it very easily. Just take it out, put it back in, and then while it's in there, it's actually charging. So now you can see the green light indicates the green light here. Move it so you can see it. Otherwise, the light would be amber. And that's it, I'm good to go. So even 15 minutes of charging in this case gives me 3 hours of wireless use. Every once in a while, after 24 hours of usage, then the case will need to be charged as well. All you need is a lightning cable. So that's the same as the iPhone. So if you have an iPhone and you have a charging cable for the iPhone, you can charge those very easily as well. If I double tap on the sides, I can ask Siri anything I want. For example, I can say reduce the volume by 20%, mute, or stop the music, or anything I want in plain English. When I first saw them, I was wondering how on earth does my voice go from here to here? Like normally there should be some sort of microphone close to my mouth so the other person can hear me. There is what Apple calls beamforming microphones, so they kind of sense where the sound of my voice comes from. They can sense that the source of the dominant sound comes from this location, so they know where the sound is coming from, and equally they can exclude the sound that comes from other directions. So they actually have a CPU in there called W1, and you might wonder, why would a headset need a CPU? Well, in order to do all those things on the fly, in order to know that I've just warned them, in order to know that my voice is coming from this way, and on the fly block any sound that comes from the background, they actually need a pretty capable processor that works on the fly as you speak. And once you open the case, they automatically pair with your iPhone. If your iPhone is next to the case, then they will assume that this is your iPhone, this iPhone belongs to you. And once that happens, which is instant, then any other device you have which is registered under your name, under your Apple ID, automatically gets registered as well. If you have ever used any traditional, conventional Bluetooth headsets, you will have noticed how difficult or insanely hard it is to pair with a second device. Well, that's not the case with the AirPods. Just basically one less thing in the way. Like I am speaking to you, moving my hands, like doing stuff, and I don't need to worry about cables. And if I go outside running, there is no cables to sort of block my movement or sort of pull my headset out or anything like that, which used to happen when I was running with a wired headset. It doesn't really fall off your ear. Like you can move like this, you can run, they just stay put. Even though they are quite expensive, they seriously are a very impressive piece of technology that I thoroughly recommend even at this price. The amount of use you get out of them is insane, like I use them all day. You literally forget you're wearing them. They're weightless. Quite often with headsets, especially the heavier Bluetooth conventional headsets, you do get somewhat fatigued from the constant use, whereas with those, hours on end, you don't feel them. It took me a while to just figure out how much pressure I'm supposed to use when I tap for Siri. So as it stands right now, for very simple things like changing the volume or pausing the music or something like that, you would have to call Siri. You would have to double tap and say, Siri, pause the music, or reduce the volume, or things like that. So that can get quite frustrating if you're out and about. Your cellular connection is not ideal, so Siri might not respond, and even if Siri responds, he or she might not get what you're trying to ask. So it might come back and say, sorry Max, I didn't get what you were saying. Well, that sucks because I'm out running. So now what I have to do is I have to reach for my phone and change the volume, for example. So that's all there is to it. I'm really impressed with the Apple AirPods. If you do have an Apple store around where you live, go give them a try. Yeah, so I never go anywhere without them. They're always in my pocket. So thanks for watching, and I'll speak to you very soon. Bye. Little holes of things coming out that so they've got multiple sensors.